So you're kicking off season 2 of Dealmakers today. So we have a series of different podcasts. We have a podcast on movies. It's my favorite one to do. I fucking love doing the movies, buddy.
Now, which movies are we talking?
Oh, buddy. Okay.
Anything?
Let me tell you what. Anything's up for show, but I will say it's a male-dominated audience right now. Okay. So what our best episode. The audio is not great on. This is before I even figured out how to do all this shit. But our best episode was on Taken, and it was just me, my brother, and my brother's best friend just going to town on Taken. We had a great time,
Having a ball.
Oh my god, dude, it was incredible. So the one that we have coming up tonight, we're gonna be filming one on Inside Man, Denzel, Clive Owen, Jodie Foster. I mean, bro. It's one of the, I don't mind Spike Lee movies. They're not my go-to by any means, but like he's got 2 or 3. This is one of them that I'm like, yeah, if that's on the TV and there's nothing else, I'm fucking zooming in on this one. So we talk about movies. We'll talk about, started another one that is on basically the same concept, but on shows, TV shows that stick with you. So the first one that we did was on True Detective season 1. I mean,
I've never seen True Detective.
You're not missing out on the next 4 seasons.
It's just season 1 that's the...
Bro, when you sit down if you're on your deathbed and you haven't watched it yet, it's like, Stephanie, get the fucking kids. I just need you guys to like scoot out of this room for a couple hours. I need some time with Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey. I'm telling you, bro, it is the best show for that genre that I've ever seen.
Okay.
On TV. It's HBO, peak HBO. Yeah. For a season of television. It's not the best series ever. There's better series. Sopranos and all the other stuff is like fucking great. But that's telling you. Worth it.
I think you could almost do an entire thing just on HBO series, like the HBO series. Like if you go back and think Sopranos, The Wire, one of my favorite, well, actually, Deadwood was a surprisingly good one that
Deadwood's sneaky good.
You had to kind of like get into. It was like a slow burn to begin. And
yes.
There's some real stuff there. The Newsroom.
Oh, yeah. Newsroom's pretty good. Dude, that guy, Jeff Daniel, sneaky good actor. Because the first time I was ever introduced to him was freaking Dumb and Dumber. But he's actually like a legit actor. He's not some goofball.
So the craziest part about The Newsroom, so it was written by Aaron Sorkin.
Oh, my God. Sorkin, dude.
So if at the beginning of COVID, you're at home, right? And with the young kids, Steph won't let me like I like to cook is like my wind down.
Okay.
But I also like to watch TV while I'm cooking.
Like, dude,
it elongates the process. Okay. Like a couple beers, maybe a glass of wine or something. And I watch TV while I cook. She got so upset because I'd be watching stuff like The Wire. And she's like, you can't watch this shit while the kids are in the room.
It's my space, babe.
My space. I'm making your food. Maybe back off. So I had to find like a family friendly, and I wasn't watching Peppa Pig while I was cooking.
No, dude, you can't do that. Come on.
So the West Wing started on Netflix right then.
Interesting.
Right at the beginning of it. Who wrote the West Wing?
Sorkin.
Yeah. A lot of the plot lines for the Newsroom are very similar to the plot lines of West Wing. When you like, if you get like real nerdy on it, some of the episodes have the same titles.
Really?
Yep.
That's pretty interesting. Dude, I mean, Sorkin's got some bangers out there. His are very detailed, like overly so.
Yeah.
But there's between his stuff, we haven't really gotten into any of the Taylor Sheridan series just because like there's so much that's going on at one time. I feel like,
I don't know how he like has enough time.
But he's got to be using AI. I mean,
you'd have to think.
I have never in my life seen, and I think I kind of do blame him as much as those shows are very enjoyable. I blame him for this now TV culture. And you'll notice this when you go and watch True Detective season 1. Okay. The reason that show resonates is because there is a pretty like, not going to say simple plot line, but it's easy to follow. And it's 2 mains, couple ancillary characters, but you're really following just like the 2 guys the whole time.
Sure.
you're not really messing around with a bunch of other ancillary shit. With the Sheridan stuff, there is like 10 storylines going on at the same time. And like, it's like, if TikTok were a TV show and where it's like, you're just swiping up and swiping up and swiping up. Because there's a constant fucking action, which is like, dude, I get it. But at the same time, you don't give the show a chance to breathe. You don't get a chance to like relate to any of the characters.
And it's not like they're like coming in and out of, like, it's not like it's panning to this other person's story, right? The person comes back in and like he does a pretty good job of weaving them in. But to your point, there's not really any downtime in the show. Like it's just constant, like, boom, you're going from Dutton to, over to Beth, and then you're down, then you're Rips out doing something like,
yes,
there's a lot of, it was funny when Yellowstone first came out, I hadn't seen it. And my sister-in-law was like, oh, it's so terrible. It's this, and this. It's like the punchlines are or not punchlines, but like the lines are predictable. And I started watching. I was like, this is
pretty fucking good.
Tremendous. Like, just because it was like, I liked it. I liked the character. I liked the cast.
Yes.
And I think if you look at the much larger context of like,
you get behind it.
If you think like, okay, what's happening to some more of these rural areas, or what's happening to like people who don't want to evolve with modern society, and like, I don't want, I use someone like Terry's a great example. I'm sitting there having a conversation with him about how I'm going to be modifying our systems and what we're doing about how we're going to overlay artificial intelligence. And he's just staring at me like,
and I don't know what that means. Why do we do this?
Like, what are we doing here? And you see the generation of students that are coming through middle, high, college. Like, even it's interesting, like you talk to like law school professors about it and their use of AI. Like 2 years ago or a year ago, you weren't allowed to use any artificial intelligence in any of your paper writing and anything. Now they're upset if you don't, and how quickly that's shifted.
That is odd. Well, especially, I mean, I feel like there are some schools, like law school in particular, where it probably comes in more handy than anything else, because there's no way that you can expect, and I guess, there's always going to be that older generation that's like did it the harder way, going to the library and all that stuff, and like coming through physically and like, oh my God, you guys have it so easy. Like, yes, we do. But there's no way that you're going to be able to like sift through and pull up cases for like every possible instance. So it's like, all right, well, if I have the database of the world in front of me, why not ask that database, if I can get the correct prompt together, let me ask that database to find an example of where this case works and supports my argument.
Well, and the other part about it too, like, I mean, I'll never forget when I was in law school, they made us literally go to the law library and go through the card system and like look up cases and physically through that.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, man, that was rough.
Man, this sucks.
But like, even then they were bitching about like how, oh, you guys have it easier with Westlaw or LexisNexis. Well, now it was really interesting. I was talking to one of our litigators and he was talking about how they had, like, he ran something through, it's called Co-Counsel. It's a AI-based product through Lexis or Westlaw. I forget which one, and you can run it over, and he like ran his argument through and asked if he was missing anything. And it came up with like 2 other affirmative defenses that he hadn't considered that wildly changed the effectiveness of his argument.
Pretty damn good.
So it's not like doing the whole thing, but you're supplementing and looking for holes in what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Poke holes in me.
I think that deep research component to it is very interesting. And I think it's the automation of more simplistic tasks. Like, all right, if you think about what we're doing when we're handling a closing, again, call it 50 touch points through a file. You've got a lot of it is data entry where you're trying to coordinate through different people. Like, there's been AI in the background of a lot of this over time, but now that speed to information, and in our role, it's an information gathering role. Like, I've got to rely on the agents. I need to rely on the consumers, and they all have different levels of sophistication. Now, think about it this way.
It's true.
There's very few industries where you have to build a product that will resonate with an 18-year-old all the way to a 95-year-old.
It's a wide range, bro.
it's a real wide range. And so you're trying to create a one size fits all product for a gap against massive generations of varied sophistication technologically. And some people are like, I don't want to do any of this. And you're like, this is you go to the doctor's office now and like, they're like, we're going to send you a text and you can fill in all the information that you would give us sitting in our waiting room, 15 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
And, the doctor's like using like an AI script to listen to the whole thing. I'll come out of my doctor's office and I get like a AI summary of our visit like 15 minutes later.
Look at you. Damn, dude.
But it's kind of neat. You're like, I'm not sitting there trying to write, notes on my phone to tell my wife how, screwed up I am. Like, I'm like, here's the summary.
I don't have to. Just here you go. That is, you know what? It is huge for that. That would be freaking perfect. Cause I don't know about you. Like yes, I love my wife, but I always get those texts like, how did it go? And I'd be like, I'm irritated when I get those. It's like, I just went through it. I don't want to have to like relive the whole thing again. I would love it if somebody could just auto reply to that. This is exactly that.
It's just give you the highlight. Right? Let me give you the blood pressure. Here's this, here's that. Like, I have to go on this medicine for a little while. Then you do this. And then, okay, here we go. Let's keep
exactly.
But
I feel like it too with the AI stuff. It's especially in your business, in the title world, with the advent of technology and how it's been evolving. I mean, dude, look at how fast AI has progressed in the last year, 2 years. There's more ways for things to go wrong because of how much more technology is involved. So with every step or two that we take forward to make it a better user experience on the back end, not you guys in particular, but like out in the world, there are just as many people looking for ways to use that technology against the consumer, to use it against the title folks.
For the longest time, we've talked about wire fraud, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's only elevated the concerns and the issues around that. And because, it's not like, hey, you're getting the Nigerian prince email.
No.
Like, that's not the email. The stuff that you're getting is really sophisticated.
It looks just like you would get from a title company.
10 days ago, we got someone impersonating a seller, and they had fabricated a fake ID for their identity verification.
Wow. Damn.
And so, like, this stuff isn't like, I think you see a lot of these things in, like, if you're reading Housing Wire, if you're in, like, you hear this stuff people talk about it, you hear about it in continuing education classes. And you're like, oh, well, is that ever going to happen? Like, I remember when our first seller impersonation happened in Anne Arundel County 4 years ago, and everyone was like, is that real? I'm like, no, it's happening all of the time right now.
Tell me about that story.
That one.
You don't have to use names, but
no. I'll protect the less than innocent in this moment. But essentially, someone took a listing.
Yep.
They did no due diligence. Just threw the listing in, down in South County somewhere. Let's say they list the lot for $250,000. Buyer comes in, says, "Oh, I'd love to buy that. I don't think it's worth $250. I'll give you $125. Sold." How many times are in negotiation you're like, hey, I'm going to take a 50% haircut on?
Never.
Like, yeah.
First red flag.
First red flag. Okay. Like, boom. And then it wound up, that one actually, the deal went through.
Shut up.
And when the money went to be wired, the bank bounced the money back because the account name that they had provided didn't match for what it did. So we were able to call back the money on it. In that instant, it got really interesting because then we started like doing some additional due diligence. There was a fake closing notary that had been done out of state. And this is one of the other things now that you're running into a lot because no one actually wants to come to closing. Like, it's apparently like, no, we can't be.
I got to see people. No.
I don't want to see.
Oh yeah.
But you get to it and like, everyone's like, oh, my seller's out of state. So that there's a couple little things that can occur along the way. And ultimately, we wound up tracking down. This was like at the very early stage of the seller impersonation. There's been a lot more procedures in the industry that have been put in place since then, but we wound up actually finding the owner of the lot and we connected him with the guy who wanted to buy the lot.
Yeah.
And then we actually did the deal with the real guy later.
Oh my God. Thank
That's
God.
the best. Like, it was the best part of actually coming.
Sir, would you actually take 125?
I think we ended it at 175. It was just a very interesting, like, how it all came together.
Dude, that's crazy. I feel like stories like that are going to populate more. I mean, shit, even scrolling through social media, you see, this is not real estate related, just like random videos. You're like, oh my God. And you think like somebody did something crazy or whatever. Or there's a fucking tiger that's driving a car, some shit, and it looks real. Nah, wait a minute. How stupid am I? Like, it can possibly be real.
One thing they're talking about now is like how we as humans are starting to distrust what we used to think was real.
Yeah.
And so rather than like you're changing the opinion of, rather than like, oh, look how cool that is. Like, that's awesome that Shane went and, had his dog driving his car. Like, to like, I don't think a dog can drive a car.
They don't have thumbs.
Yeah,
How the fuck?
Like it starts repositioning the concept, like where you're distrustful until proven.
Yeah.
Like, so like take the vacant land deals from an underwriting perspective. Now we actually have to take it as it's fraud until you prove to me it's not.
Yeah. And I can see why that would have to be the case now. It's, seems in some ways un-American, but at the same time, like, how the fuck else are you supposed to protect these people?
Well, I mean, you're issuing an insurance product at the end of the day that they're vested with the title to the property. Now, I think more than ever, you talk about like the importance of that product, and especially vacant land, but even the rest of it. You think people can't use AI to generate lien releases on their property?
Sure.
You think that the county clerk's office can tell the difference between an AI generated release and otherwise?
You and I both know that they cannot.
But, so you get down to some stuff like that, and it's like, well, there's people who are going to be filing fraudulent releases and then saying that there's no payoffs on the property. Then, okay, so then you pull the title and it's been released, and then you don't pay off anything. The new homeowner goes in 2 months later and there's a foreclosure notice on the front door. That happened in DC about 10 years ago.
Really?
Now, in that case, they hadn't filed a fraudulent release, but the land records office had misindexed the name. The guy's name was Donald.
Yeah.
And when the clerk typed it into their indexing system, instead of DONALD, she typed it in as DONLAD. So the abstractor didn't pick it up. It was actually it was an estate sale. So the son didn't report a mortgage, didn't correct anyone. He knew that what was going on, took all the money from the proceeds, and literally he made 3 mortgage payments after settlement, broke out of town. He actually went to Reno. That's where they found him. But that was a claim because the homeowner got a foreclosure notice on the front door of their house and that they're getting foreclosed on. And it was because of that misindexing error. And, people all the time are like, well, if you guys do your job right, there's so many extraneous factors. It's not me doing my job right necessarily. I mean, that's a component of it, but it's the clerk's office. It's someone. And now a lot of these places, as we're doing electronic recording now, the clerks aren't inputting the information. So I'm having to rely on, Sally or John over at XYZ Title and whether they indexed it correctly when it came in. That's a lot of trust in people that I don't trust.
Exactly. Like any other, vendor relationship out there. You never know. Like, I don't know. You just don't know who you can trust on stuff. And like, there's too many, like any other set, like there's good shops, there's bad shops, there's great shops, like anything else, but it's usually comes down to what level of detail and can they provide, and are they educated on the product and what they're doing? Can they foresee issues, handle them up front so that the experience is a lot smoother than it otherwise could be. There's some shit that you just can't plan for. But
well, we were talking about, actually, I had a meeting this morning. I was talking about in the meeting. I said, I'm distilling what we do as the title company down to 2 things, and everything else will fall in these 2 buckets. I'm responsible for risk mitigation and making sure that everyone's money gets to the place that it should be as quickly as possible. It's those 2 things, because under the risk
that's what they care about.
Well, that like at the end of the day, that's really what you're doing, right? Because you're talking about, okay, under the risk mitigation, you're talking about doing the title examination, making sure the abstracting is coming in, making sure that identity verification is going, all of those things that frisk around the transaction. And then there's the escrow side of it with the money.
Yep.
And how many times can you get, I probably move 20 million a day through the escrow accounts.
It's a lot of money, man.
It's a lot of risk. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And they're moving, and it's not like, hey, there's one transaction that 20 million is going through.
No.
That, if you think pre-COVID, no real estate agent got their commission wired.
That was all checks.
It was all checks. The amount, very rarely, well, not very rarely, but more recently, consumers are getting their, COVID definitely, but even a little bit before that, when I first got into business, a seller didn't get a wire. They took a check for their cash.
Yeah, it was a check, and it was a cashier
you take this over to the bank. It's a big check. You should be careful with that.
Yep.
So if you think about just that, like how it changes the business, even from that perspective, the amount of wiring that we're doing. I've got 3 people full time that just do wires. Think about that.
It's a lot, man.
That overhead.
It's a lot of overhead, but also a necessity because
it's a necessary evil to deal with that key competency of getting the money
in
the right place as quickly as possible.
Because have you ever fielded a call from somebody that didn't get the money that they were supposed to get, or it didn't go to the right place? And how fucking threatening. What's the worst call that you've gotten in the last few years from a consumer? Doesn't have to be from an agent, but I'm sure agents bitch all the time.
Well, they're conduit. The agents are the conduits to their clients. And sometimes it's about expectation management. And is that correct? Is everyone in alignment? I'll give you two examples of it. So this is back July 3rd of it was either 16 or 17. I remember it because it was one of the only days that we've actually closed down the business on a non-bank holiday.
Okay.
But it was like we were trying to do good by the employees by giving them a day off for July 4th because July 4th was on a Saturday. It was one of those deals.
Yep.
And so I'm down at the ocean, hon, and driving down Ocean Highway, and I get a phone call from a seller who tells me that he hasn't gotten his money and he thinks there's been, an issue. It was actually a fraudster that had called my cell that was purporting he had hacked the email of the seller, and it was a power of attorney situation. The guy was out of the country already.
Oh.
And so I was talking with the fraudster.
Yeah.
And that was like when you start talking about inserting fraudulent wiring instructions. And now I think at the moment I'm actually talking to the real seller. Wife's sitting in the passenger seat. I'm like, this agent's going to be so upset. This is like, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
And I'm like, and
I'd be stressing now.
No one's at the office. I didn't have my laptop on me. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to send this thing till Monday. And this guy's like yelling at me. And it was, again, the fraudster. And we started unpacking it a little bit more because the money, we had sent it and got rejected and sent back. And again, another situation. There's certain banks that will, if the account number and the name on the account don't match, they won't apply it to the account.
Interesting.
So like Bank of America, if the bank account number and the bank name don't match what you put when you send the wire, they reject it.
They say, nope. Interesting. Okay.
Wells Fargo, they don't care.
They will accept anything, I can assure you.
We had one, it was a fraud situation a few years ago where the money got sent to Wells Fargo. That one, we had a substituted payoff statement. Now that got real fun. And in that case, Wells Fargo applied it to the account. We finally, once we realized what was going on, we tried to claw the money back. They agreed that it was fraud, but their account was negative 18 grand that had been overdrawn.
Oh my God.
So they sent us the money back less the 18 grand so they shorted me 18 on the way back.
How about now? I mean, where's the rest of it? God bless.
Never got that money back.
Oh my God. And you guys just had to eat it? Oh my God. That's crazy.
That's why, title game, the margins are not as good as everyone thinks. And the risk is incredibly high.
Yeah.
You know, when I talk to other title company owners, especially if I'm trying to either have them join us or sell to us or, you know, whatever our proposition is for that particular individual, I would say, like, I haven't slept in 15 years. Ever since I took over the escrow accounts, I have not slept well.
Yeah.
Because I'm always concerned about that. And part of my value proposition to them is, would you like to sleep again?
It does sound nice, doesn't it?
I mean, the gray hair is coming in quite rapidly.
I think, look, man, I don't know if you have a little Just for Men going right now, but it looks fantastic.
You should see it with the gel out of it. It's a little rough, but like that, there's an inherent like stress factor that goes with that. But you know, it's very interesting because in all these situations, everyone's got a little bit something. You know, we had one 2 weeks ago, 3 brothers were selling. All 3 had bank accounts at the same bank.
Yep.
Dad was running the show for them. 3 wires sent out back to back to back. One deal, split proceeds. 3 brothers. Brothers 1's wire hits. Brother 2 wires hit. 3rd wire doesn't hit. We've called, we verified. This guy's yelling at us 10 ways till Sunday. He's hot to trot. And, you know, he's implicating that he wants to sue me and that what have I done with his money? And I'm like, I've done this exactly pursuant to the instructions you've given us. I've verified it's left our bank. I verified it's been sent to your bank with your instructions. They have it somewhere. No, you're wrong. Blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
The agents get involved. Everyone's yelling, what are you going to do to make this right? I mean, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Sure.
This is not, you know, I got probably like $150 in cash on me. I probably $300 right now.
I can't make this up.
The colorful words were used.
I imagine.
This, we're that. And we're like, you need to talk to your bank. He was like, this is your fault. You have to deal with it. They won't talk to me.
No.
Like if I call up, I'm like, I'd like to talk about Shane's bank account over here. Can you guys verify? Like, you're not Shane.
No, if you're not Shane, then I don't want to talk to you.
They probably wouldn't even talk to you.
No, I can assure you they don't want to talk to me unless they need money from me. And then it's like, well, we're going to take it anyways. And if you need something, you could reach us, but they're going to send me to fucking India and talk to Sanjeep or whoever is going to answer the phone and tell me that their name is Michael.
Yeah.
And then say, well, we don't know where it is, but we will find it. And we get back to you, sir. Now, if you could stay on the line for 2 more minutes and give us a customer service satisfaction of 5 stars, that would be great. Like, look, bud.
Yeah.
Stop it.
It's not happening. So, you know, that one took 24 hours and they had it in their OFAC account and they wouldn't tell us and confirm it. And eventually it came out that the money was there. The money wasn't directed the right way, but they had it stuck in their OFAC account and hadn't released it.
Well, did you get an apology at least?
No.
No, well, that would be too much. That would be, I will say, like,
the agents were very appreciative in that case.
Of course.
But it was just like one of those moments where the stress, talk about like those stress and the inopportune moments of you have to go into like we've got a fraud response team. We've got escalation paths. We've got all these things built in, which you have to have in order to keep everything cranking. But the tough part is the rest of your business still needs to operate while you're in these moments of intensity. And that's tough. Like if I'm over here trying to deal with this or someone on my team's over here trying to deal with this, but the meat and potatoes still needs to be done on the rest of the closings that are coming up. You can't take your eye off that prize either, which is what I don't know how small title companies do it because you can't juggle both of those things.
No, the squeaky wheel is going to get the grease.
And then all of a sudden your closings next week are off track because this occurs. You know, I've been that small company before and when you're busier than a one-arm paper hanger, it's a bit of a situation, right? Because you can't be at the table and you can't be wiring and you can't be here because someone shows up late. So you're trying to get this wire out and this proceeds here while you got someone waiting in the conference room to close and they're mad because you're not there. You start rushing, you key in something wrong. Like those are all things that are pressures of a very small title company that while I believe a lot of them do good work, there's just pressures that the modern transaction needs modern systems, it needs scale to appropriately safeguard the monies. And again, go back to what I said, it's risk mitigation and it's, can we get the money to all the right places as quickly as possible? That's the whole shooting match as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I remember those days of the small title company when we met 10, 12 years ago, something like that. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time. Did not have gray hair then, but
no, but like, what'd you guys have at that point? Like 10, 15 people at
yeah, back then it
Eagle?
was probably, we moved to the current location in 2016 and there was 15 of us when we moved.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Now between the law firm and the title company, I think there's 85, 87, something like that.
It's a lot of people, man. And your office space is like quintupled. I feel terrible because I get invited to all your parties, but there's so many fucking leechy people that show up.
It's not your scene. It's not your scene. I get it.
It's not. Listen, I like small group settings. Small group settings are fantastic. You get me into like those massive crowds. It's like, I'm not a Terry. Terry can work a room.
Terry can work
a room. My guy can do it.
He's better at it than anyone. It's interesting. I enjoyed the company when it was that size for different reasons than I enjoy it for now. It's, now we've got the Baltimore locations, Severna Park, Annapolis, Prince Frederick, signing locations over on the shore. And to me, it's part of a more globalized strategy of, you go back to like the concept of people don't want to actually attend closing or they don't want to do this. Well, the best way that in a lot of ways that we can mitigate the risk is getting them to a location where I can verify certain things. And I would say I can curate the experience better for them, whether they can value that up front or not. Once they come in and they're like, okay, always
depends on the person.
I used to remember when I go into certain brokerages and like they've got like these small little table that you're signing and it's got like an accordion wall and you can hear the people in the room next to you. And I'm like, this isn't an experience. This is a confidential set of information. Like, let's, you also have people used to like actually like dress up to come to closing.
That is true.
You'd have people in like a coat and tie and like coming in,
dude.
And then now it's like you get some yoga pants and, a cutoff tee and you're ready to roll.
Yeah, I'm here to shine.
Yep. Well, let's do this thing.
I remember dressing up to go to closings and now I feel like I only attend like 25% of them. And it's because I don't know if there's an option. Like before, there was no option. You go to closing and you are going to, that's how you get paid. So,
because that's where you're getting your check, right?
Exactly.
So all of a sudden you take that component out of it. And I think there's less incentive to do it. Now, what I will say, and I see certain lenders do this that are pretty good where they'll come to closing and, it used to be from the era of like, they were bringing the money.
Oh, bingo. Yeah. Yeah.
And so that was their role. Now, I always find it nice because, there's times where people don't exactly, and I'll say understand their complete loan terms, but like, it's nice to have them there.
Plenty of time.
It's nice to do that. Now, I'll tell you what, there are some really bang up lenders out there. And I'm a local lender guy. I think it moves the needle when there's an issue. And there's almost no transaction that doesn't have something going on.
There's always something, dude.
Like if I haven't gotten over a hump yet, if like there hasn't been a hurdle we've had to get over, I'm like concerned. So I'm like, what is going on that this hasn't popped up and bitten us on something?
Yeah.
And look, when I went to law school, I would say it this way. I'm classically trained in worst case scenario. It's got to be a real bitch to be married to me because I walk out and I'm like, I think it's going to rain today. And Steph's like, it's 95. There's no humidity in there whatsoever. I'm like,
I don't know. I got a feeling my knees hurt.
That ACL injury from 30 years ago is really cranking up on me today.
That's right.
That is actually the worst part about getting older is you're like, I'll literally wake up and outside is, and she's like, how do you know that? You can't hear it on the roof or something.
My eyes are closed.
I'm like,
the curtains are shut. I just have a feel. I know it.
Like my left knee is screaming right now. And I know there's going to be some ibuprofen in my future.
You better believe it. That's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's one of those deals, but you almost have to be a pessimist and not in a way of like, it's tough because I don't want to have to look at the world that way. But what I'm trying to do is I think there's too many people that have an overly positive, everything's just going to work out mentality.
For sure. Yeah.
And the problem is that in my mind, they're not mentally prepared for the problem solving of when it doesn't, when it hits the fan. And you're like, and then they're like, oh, what do we do? I'm like, oh, I've already been thinking about this 10 ways till Sunday.
Yes.
On how we're going to solve this problem and get ahead of it and then be ready to roll. And I think that's the biggest difference maker for me, is like, if, as long as I'm ready for it and I come in, I'm not overreacting to the situation, or you're not getting my first reaction because it's already been
Oh yeah.
banging around in my head here a little bit on like, all right, if this happens, what do we do? If this, we're always working 2 or 3 solutions for every problem, because you don't know exactly what's going to happen on, if the money doesn't come in, if this doesn't happen, or there's an issue. I would say, if I've got a closing, let's say there's a closing at 10 o'clock, and at 9:40 I get a call to my cell phone.
It's not good.
There's a walkthrough issue. I know there's a walkthrough issue.
Withhold that fucking money. Do not let it go at all. They took the curtains.
They took the curtains.
That's so true. I remember when I first got into real estate, I'm in year 13 or whatever now.
Because we got connected like
pretty early by our boy Matt Nader. And I'm going to mention him in a second.
Local lender.
So I remember particularly my first year, maybe 2, super green, like excited to just do something different and to try and capture some of that entrepreneurial spirit. Like, man, I don't really know what I'm going to be good at, but I got to be good at something. I'm pretty good with people and just talking with them, getting to know them, figuring out what they want. I don't know everything yet in real estate, obviously, but I feel like if I can connect with people and I can study the market and stuff, and I like houses. I've always liked going to the houses. It's awesome. It's fun, dude. Who doesn't like being a voyeur?
Right.
So I'm like, this is going to be great. So I remember the first few closings when I finally worked out, I was like on top of the world. I was elated. I'm happy for me, happy for the client. Over time, that feeling of elation went from, let's say it was a 10 out of 10 down to like an 8 out of 10, down to like what now is dead. I'm no longer happy when something goes through. I'm relieved when it does. And I think that's because,
well, it's because you have the experience that
exactly.
I
know it can go wrong so many different times.
And I think I always find it funny. And again, I don't go to the table as much anymore. I have kind of a few sets of clients that kind of were my OG clients that I've just kind of held on to because I valued what we did together to get everything going. And like, I think there's another value of still going to the table for me running the company, because I can see how our processes and our systems are working.
Yeah.
So like, I have got real firsthand experience. I'm like, hey, you guys thought that welcome email was fantastic, but this isn't exactly landing the way you thought it was, because you're seeing the real time thing. So there's still a part of me that's good from production that helps me lead the company better. But yeah, like when you've seen it, and I've long ago joked that I'm going to write a book one day called Tales from the Table.
Oh, that's great.
It's just going to be like
patent pending. Nobody touch that.
Pending, don't touch that one. But it's if you think you couldn't make it up, I've seen. I'm probably 26, probably over 30,000 transactions now. I've seen some stuff. I've heard some things. I've seen some things. But like in that time, to your point, or yes, they took the curtains, or someone took a chandelier one time. So like they didn't put it as an exclusion, or they didn't know, there was this one, the hardwood was scratched when they were moving the piano.
Yes.
And it was like a bamboo inset with a compass rose. No one could actually value what it would take to repair that.
So you pull a number out of your ass, from some side, and say,
everyone's like,
$100.
Yeah, you're like, well, if you want to do this on the sheet, like, we got to make sure the lender's okay with it, and it's on the seller side. What does it matter? I'm like, anytime you're doing an escrow and there's a lender involved, what are you talking about? There's something wrong with their collateral.
Yes,
like they care about. We went and there is damage to the roof. The lender will care about that. You
better believe it. Because they got to be, first of all, most of those lenders got to sell that loan.
Oh yeah. That loan's already been sold before you even get to the table on it. And I think ultimately with what we see with a lot of this is like people don't understand the why behind it, which is you're constantly educating people all of the time, but I think too many people don't do the proactive work to, look, if you're going to have, and a lot of the agents that got into the business during the COVID era have never seen the current market that we're working in right now. And so it's like, all right.
I've been in much longer than that. And it's still hard to get a hold on. Like, I think I got a pretty good handle on it and what's going to happen, but there's still some things that I see. I'm like, Jesus.
I remember, I think some of the first deals we did together, I actually talk about you quite a bit when I talk about agents who've worked their way through different markets.
Yeah.
You are actually the example I use, because I remember one of the first deals we ever did together, we actually did like 5 of these in a row. And it was just the market in that era was the short sales.
Yeah.
We had like 4 or 5 files in a row that were just all short sales. And
I promise I'm not going for these. Like,
but that was what was available in that time, right? That was the inventory that was available. And I remember the way I taught, at least the way I remember it, was there'd be times where we'd be in that deal for 9, 10, 11 months and you're getting a check for $4,500 at the end of it. And everyone was happy. Hell yeah. Look at this.
Finally.
And like, if you look at it now, if I said to you, Shane, are you willing to work for 10 months for $4,500? You'd be like, well, I don't know. That's the best use of my time right now. But I mean, there's a time value of money. Now, when we're first getting going,
I'll try to take anything.
Like, I'll do whatever. I think that's where you start, like, as the businesses grow up, as you start seeing these different angles to the business and seeing where it's going. Now, the short sales really haven't been a thing for a long time, but with the appreciating value, that the short sales haven't been prominent whatsoever. I mean, hell, you haven't even barely seen foreclosures. That inventory has been just.
That was one of the things they were predicting a couple of years ago. It was like, oh, we're going to see all these like COVID foreclosures and stuff now because the rates have gone up and people are losing jobs and stuff. But no, I haven't seen them. And one of the things that bugs me to no end is the doom casting that a lot of people will do. Well, I'm waiting for the bottom to fall out because it's like, okay, I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you that. What I can tell you is what's going on right now. You can use the past to help predict the future, but none of us fucking know what's going to happen. The doom casting stuff kills me. I can't stand it. It's a bugger.
Well, the thing about the doom casting, to your point, is everyone's just guessing.
Yes.
And like, even now when I was like, well, if the interest rates just go down, there's this, or this. Like, I'm not the chair of the Federal Reserve.
No.
I can't dictate that, right? All I can do is dictate what's in the market. How do we service that market? How do we service what's going on that's out there? People still need to buy and sell. Like, to your point, when people start predicting the COVID foreclosures, well, if you bought a house, let's just say you bought a house early in COVID or right before COVID, your house is appreciated 45 to 50% in value.
Exactly.
You're not going to let it get foreclosed on. If you've got that price appreciation, you might sell it.
You could sell it, refinance if you wanted to. You've got plenty of equity in there.
There's plenty of equity to play with. I always remember my first house. I had this townhouse, and it had an FHA loan on it. So I got a gift from my grandparents.
Yep.
Gift equity to get in, do this. I got no money. I'm in law school at the time. We're in the house for like 2 months, and the derecho came through. And I went downstairs to check the sump pump because I was like, oh, I'm going to be like a really good homeowner and I'm going to stay on top of this.
Yep.
And I walked down the steps and took the last step off the stair into the basement, and the carpet was soaked. To find out, the house had a foundation crack behind the wall.
That's nice. Good.
So the prior owner, it was a rental, and then it was a rental. They had just put new carpet and everything. So like, as a first-time home buyer, I'm coming in. I'm like, oh my God.
Hell yeah, boy.
Brand new carpet. We don't have to deal with this. Fresh paint. We don't have to deal with that. Okay. Now I stepped down in that carpet soaking wet. I'm like, ooh, crap.
Someone's going to die.
I wound up having to rip out the wall, and actually had wood paneling down there that they had painted.
Oh yeah.
So I can't exactly replace that in an easy way.
Where was the house in Arnold?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
It was had a 9-foot foundation crack in it.
God damn.
And the craziest part about it was I'm 99% sure that the seller knew about it because the tack strip when we pulled the carpet up had been fully deteriorated. So there was no way that like this wasn't an issue before, and they just.
I'm sure they said, well, it's dry now, so let's just fucking put the carpet down. Come on.
I wound up getting this guy who was he works on bridges up and down the East Coast.
Yeah.
And when they have like foundation cracks in them and they go in and inject these things.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I was like, is this like going to be a problem? He goes, this is now the strongest part of your home.
You now have Kevlar reinforced foundation, sir. You're going to be fine.
But the crazy thing about that, you think about that. All right, you got an FHA loan, so you got barely any cash in the game, right?
Yeah.
And now I've got a major structural issue with the house. I've got no money.
No money. I'm fucking panicking.
So we literally ripped all the carpet out.
Yep.
Put all the stuff in the middle of the room. I took it down to the studs, but I didn't have any money to repair it. So for like 18 months, it just sat stud. My wife wouldn't even go into the basement.
I can't do it.
She's like,
Story of my, dude.
no, I won't go down there. She wouldn't go down there. She wouldn't look at it. It was too big of an issue.
Yep.
And right when my son was about to be born, we needed, that townhouse only had 2 bedrooms upstairs, and we needed to turn the guest room into the nursery, and we were going to turn the basement to the guest bedroom. So I had to fix it at that point. So that turned into like the buddies came over and we did some drywall work.
In the old days where you could have your friends come over with, do you guys want some beer and some pizza? Just a quick drywall activity.
If I called my buddies up now and was like, hey,
yeah, fuck you, bro. No chance.
Guys would come over and help me do some drywall work. They'd be like, I can give you the name of a contractor that would come do some drywall work for you.
I can't think of anything I want to do less, actually. That's where you need to call the father-in-law, because father-in-law has just enough energy to be like, first off, I know how to do this because I'm old, and all old people know how to do anything handy, especially dudes. And they also have nothing but time. And they're like, and I get a chance to go and like hang out with my grandkids for a little bit and maybe show them, teach them the ropes and stuff that I never had the fucking time to teach my kids. Let's do it. That's what they're perfect for.
The best part about that one, you know how like when you get in your car and if you like consistently go to a place, it'll be like 10 maps to 1 Joyce Lane. That was where my kids went to daycare. Like my dad was the one who came over to like help me get through the rest of that project. And so every Saturday morning at like 9 a.m., it would just say 8 minutes to this street.
That's right.
The craziest part, I actually just saw that house go on the market this week. And it was funny. I was looking at the pictures and we had done a lot of stuff, like just slowly improving it over time and like putting like wainscoting in and all this stuff. And like, those are like projects I did with my dad. And like, we just kind of did.
Still there?
Oh, they're still there. Like, but to your point, the funny part was like remembering when we were doing it and my son was so young. At the time, there's pictures. I've got pictures of my dad, myself, and my son working on the wainscoting, and
it's pretty
Dean
cool.
He's only wearing a diaper, and because we were painting, and he wanted to be part of the painting project after we had done all this, and so it's like the picture of the 3 of us working on that house, which I was like, when I saw the picture of it, and I was like, man, it's still there. It looked pretty good, man. Our craftsmanship that's pretty good looking there, you know.
If we wanted to, we could have a contracting company. I mean, listen, small projects first.
Small projects. You know,
but that's like what you described though. And maybe it's this, I don't know. Part of me feels like maybe it's just the season of life that we're in now where it's like, we don't really have the time to do that stuff because the kids are a little bit older. And when you're younger, you have that, but you have a little bit more time. You have a little bit more freedom to pull that off. But now I don't even think that kind of thing exists as much as it does because we have almost, I mean, I'm going to speak for me, and you obviously see a lot more of first-time buyers than I do just by nature of your job. But our average buyer is buying, our average first-time buyer, I should say, has a much higher price point than what you and I had as first-time home buyers.
We were talking about it yesterday because I remember back in the day.
It's astounding.
I remember back in the day, you'd get like a $500,000 deal.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, we hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
Look at this
Let's
mega
go.
deal. And, you know, sometimes I'll see like someone like, you get like a $500,000 deal, like over in Arnold or Savannah Park. And I'm like, what are they buying?
What are they buying?
What
shoebox is this?
What shoebox are they acquiring? Like, what can you, but it's wild to see.
Yeah.
those prices over the time and how much they've appreciated. You know, real estate is a wealth building tool. I still firmly believe it's
100%.
one of the best ones. And yeah, there's been from call it like 2012 to present day, really wild period of price appreciation that if you were in the game for that time period, you've benefited from.
Yeah.
You know, you see some of that, and I'm like, because especially people like at being at COVID are like, I don't want to get into this bidding war. I'll wait for the prices to come back down.
Dude, you know how many times we heard that? Jesus.
Those were like real conversations, but now you look at them and you go, I had a friend who bought one, and I was pleading with him to buy during COVID, pleading with him. And he didn't buy. He wanted the prices to come down. He wound up buying a house that was probably $300,000 more expensive than he would have paid at the beginning of COVID, at an interest rate 4 points higher than he paid at the beginning of COVID.
Yeah. And sometimes it's timing. Like, you know, maybe it's not the right time in their life to make that move. And like that is definitely a big part of it. But sometimes, like, if you have the ability to do it, I have a lot of friends and clients that do that game of like, I don't know. My dad's one of these. I love my dad, but like, he's like, well, I don't know. And we were looking at, he wants to move to Eastport. He wants to move to Murray Hill, somewhere where it's like
walkability.
Walkability. It's awesome. But he also wants parking. He's got a healthy budget, which is great. But he's like, I want parking. He's got a dog now, which growing up, having a dog at our house would have been fucking not allowed. I can tell you that.
Oh, talk to old Jim Pop.
Oh,
he's growing up, we were not allowed to have this, okay? Now, I grew up in a boating family, and we'd go out, and I call it glorified camping because that's really what it was.
Yeah.
We didn't have a camper. We just had a boat that we'd take out and anchor out every weekend. And
better than a camper, I can tell you that.
It's probably better than a camper. Well, in some ways, growing up, we didn't have a boat with a generator. We didn't have, you know, our first one, I'll never forget, we'd go out to Dobbins Island. You know, we'd like barely leave the Magathie. We'd, you know, pups out from Forked Creek and go over to Dobbins. We didn't have a generator, didn't have a refrigerator, didn't have any of those things. So we had a 48 quart igloo cooler.
Bingo.
And the food, I'll never forget, because like the ice and, you know, there's a few drinks in the bottom, and the kids' drinks never made it on ice. Like you were drinking 90 degrees.
No, it's 1,000 degrees out there, and that high C and that Kool-Aid bullshit is going to be warm. The cold shit's at the bottom.
Whatever if you were lucky if you got like an Ecto Cooler high C, you know.
That's right.
And like the food was like in those, you remember like how like the trays on the top of the cooler,
yes,
like so the food wouldn't get soggy. Well, if you open that cooler up and you weren't in and out of that thing in
T-minus 2 seconds.
You were in trouble, right? And
that's a chop.
I think about it now. I'm like, you have one of the most inefficient coolers of all time, sitting out in 95-degree heat.
That's right.
With all of your food for the entire weekend. You've got no electricity.
None.
You've got none of this. And you know what?
It's awesome.
It was some of the best times of my entire life. And so awesome. You think about like the simple, you know, I go somewhere now, and if my kids don't have, you know, Wi-Fi for their iPads and this, that, and the other, they're just losing it. I'm like, guys, let's just enjoy.
Let me tell you something. Speaking of, and we're going on tangents. I don't care.
That's fine.
We have 3 kids, similar to you guys. My oldest is 8. Spicy little thing. I can tell you that right now. This chick, she's a problem. She's
a product of you. So yes,
it's basically me,
a female version
in a female form, which is, I'm already a touch high maintenance, but this is to the nth degree. Okay. It's honestly, it's like having my mother in. It's like, you've had to deal with my mom a couple of times on transactions. She's
a lovely lady.
She's something. Then we have a 5-year-old daughter, sweet as can be, but she's now figured out how to instigate and do it very well. She's just she knows what bugs people, and we'll just poke little bits. And so she does this thing. It's cute as can be, but she'll be like, "Hey, Dad, I can do your laugh." And I'll be like, "Oh, really?" She'd be like, "Oh, like shit, that is really good.
That's a good one. That's a good one."
So it's fantastic. My 3-year-old, that's the boy. It's like having an extra dog in the house. He doesn't listen to anything. He just ruins everything, screams the whole. It's like having a dog that just barks for no reason at all times. And you're like, what? We can't teach this out of him. I don't know what the problem is, but let's just get him outside. And it's just, we've been so cooped up. So we said, all right, let's take the kids somewhere. Didn't do a ton of research. We opted to take the children to Great Wolf Lodge.
Steph took the kids there on Sunday.
Listen, there were things that I'm going to tell you. The kids had a fantastic time. Emphasis on the kids. When I walked in to Great Wolf Lodge, the aroma of marijuana was strong. And I said, not exactly what I had in mind.
Didn't know we could get a contact high in the pool today. But
Didn't think so, but here we are. Fine. I walked into the lobby to go check in. First thing I see when I get in there, there's a man with no shoes on, no shirt on, very rotund, very pasty, gold chains. This time of year is rough. Listen, I myself have no tan to speak of.
I need to get some rays on the bod ASAP.
But I'm also not going to be walking around shirtless. He also had tattoos of his children's feet. All of them, all 4 kids. He had 8 feet across his chest with their names across, all in cursive. And I looked at Emily and I was like, And she just looked at me and smirked a little bit. And I was like, this is not exactly what I had in mind when I looked at the brochure. Okay. This was not on the list. And mind you, that was just like one guy. There might have been 100 other people dressed similarly doing the same thing. And it was packed. I mean, President's Day weekend, forget about it.
Were you just up there this past weekend?
Yeah.
So Steph was there on Sunday.
Dude, we were there Sunday.
So Steph, she gets this, one of her friends was like, hey, we're going to take the girls up for the birthday fee. And like, we just want to get away for a night. And
Sure.
She goes up, and I had a procedure on Monday. So I had to stay home and prepare for it.
Oh, God bless you. You made the right choice. I'd rather have had a procedure.
Well, I'm literally getting text messages being like, someone has shit in the pool.
Yes, dude, someone did. Someone shit in the wave pool. Okay, I tried to tell the people that
Steph is going to die when I tell her this.
Dude.
She was like, I'm literally getting text messages like, someone has shit in the wave pool. And she goes, then we went to this other pool. And then I look in the water, and it was like the scene out of Caddyshack where like there's the baby Ruth.
Yes.
But it was not a baby Ruth. Someone had shit in that, and a kid picked it up and had in his hand. I was like, oh, so then that pool got shut down.
Yes.
So we lost most of the pool time on Sunday.
Most of it.
Most of the pool time.
Yep.
They hit up the arcade though.
Now, I will say, we did go to the arcade. They also had this like little wand game, I guess. So like the kids, you got naturally everything there. I would explain this place like a land cruise is basically what Great Wolf is.
I'm not a cruiser.
I'm not a cruiser. I've been on a couple and I don't wish to go back, but the clientele that you would find on a cruise, that's who's coming to Great Wolf. And it was.
I don't think that y'all did yourselves any favor by going on President's Day weekend.
No, that is true. That is true. But we're also like, I don't know, maybe we'll give them something to do because we've been so damn cooped up. But it was so bizarre. But I will say the kids, they had a fantastic time. I'm not going to lie to you.
The poop situation, they had a great time.
Listen, our kids, I had to tell them several times. People did have pooped in the pool. That's why they got shut down. We got to go. And I don't want you guys going in those pools again. And they're like, yeah, no, I hear you. But could we go in the pool again? And I'm like, oh my God. And what do you think they did on Monday morning?
Jump right in that.
Right back in it.
Right in the pool.
Nasty little bastards. Nasty little things.
So my kids are 11, 8, and 5. They're all 3 years apart, which was quasi-planned, quasi-not.
It ends up working out pretty good.
It works out pretty good because, the theory was like, hey, you're never going to have 2 in diapers at the same time, which worked for the most part. Dean will be 12 in April, but he's like having a third adult parent around in the house now because he thinks he has the authority.
He does not.
He does not have actual authority nor apparent authority. he just chimes in and wants to do some parenting. And
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, once you do your homework, once you do clean up your room, once you do all the things I've asked you to do, maybe you can chime in. But right now, leave your sisters alone.
This is an ongoing problem at our house with our oldest, who also thinks she's their mother.
Oh, it only gets worse. I will tell you that.
Oh, fantastic. I look forward to it.
So my middle, her name's Blair, but her nickname's Bear.
Yep.
And my brother nicknamed her Blair Bear, and then it just got shortened to Bear. And when Dean starts screwing with her, I'm like, don't poke the bear. Okay? Do not poke the bear. And he just can't and then,
I gotta do it.
And then she starts needling with my 5-year-old.
Huh?
And getting her all riled up. And then so I'm going to her, I'm like, do you remember when Dean does this to you? How does that make you feel? She's like, terrible. I'm like, then why are you doing that to your sister? Dean's never had that done to him because he's the oldest.
Yep.
You know better because you've already been there.
Dude, it's exhausting because they will continue to do that shit. And it's like, even though it feels really bad when somebody does it to me, I feel good doing it to somebody else. That's it. It's the devil on the shoulder, man, that takes over.
I joke a lot about it. They're good kids. There's never more I appreciate my kids than when I'm around other people's kids.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. And I think kids take on the personalities of their parents at some level. And Steph is super chill. I mean, you'd have to be super chill to be married to me. Like you'd have.
You're very type A.
I'm not type A, but Monday through Friday, I give a lot to the shop.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll give you an example. So last night, I had an event that I had to go to. So I'm calling Steph at like 6:15, 6:30. She's like, hey, sweetheart, are you on your way home? I was like, no.
That is going to be a no for me.
She's like, oh, what time are you going to get home? I was like, so I forgot to tell you that I've got an event that I was started at 6 p.m. tonight and is going till 10. And I said, but I'm self-reporting, so I can't get in trouble. And she's like, just because you self-report doesn't mean I can't be mad. I'm like, no, it does. If you self-report.
I've self-reported.
I self-report.
I don't know if you heard that part.
Yeah, it's a self-report situation, okay? I can just see her on the other end of the phone and be like, what the hell?
What the hell?
And
yeah.
that is, we're trying to get better at it. I bought her, it was like the most romantic Christmas gift you could buy, which was one of these 27-inch skylights.
Oh, yeah, dude, I got one.
Thing.
Yes.
And I was like,
I thought you were going to go with edible panties or something like that. No.
Yeah, that probably would have been more romantic. But I said, what's better than a digital calendar?
Dude, they're awesome.
We're in the early stages of, we haven't gotten my calendar downloaded into the skylight yet.
I hear you.
Which was part of the scheduling snafu.
Sure. Well, listen, that's part of it. And these things will come, though. This is technology, you know?
Get there. I'm trying to get the sync going, figuring out how this is going to work. But she's very excited about it, and we're getting there.
That thing is awesome. You know, we try not to do any free ads here, but listen, Skylight's freaking cool.
It's
okay. And the kids like it too, because you can assign chores on there. You can assign tasks. You can see what you can filter stuff by kid. Like what do they have to do today? What events do they have? And if you get, like, what I love to do is, like, when I get their random sports team emails or school emails, you can forward it to the Skylight email. AI will download the whole thing, plug into the calendar wherever it needs to go.
Their sports schedule,
it's perfect.
Like, and when you can subscribe, like, right to Team Snap or Game Changer, whatever it is, and, like, you know, the coach makes a change on practice time or locations, like, dumps right down. I'm like,
right there, amazing.
This is perfect. So we're still working on getting myself integrated into the family calendar, which that will be helpful when that day occurs.
Listen, they've got some other updates too that are pretty cool. The recipe thing.
Recipe thing's pretty sweet. You can dial right into the Instacart straight from there.
Oh, how about it?
Actually, the nice thing, I got her the big one because she wanted a frame TV.
Yeah,
one of those Samsung frames, and I looked at the cost, and I was like,
"We're not.
This is." I like nice things, but this is just a little too over the top for me.
Now we've gone too far.
I'm somewhat frugal. I'm a little frugal. Okay. So I looked at this, and I was buying a new TV for the family room, and I did not go with the frame. Got a really nice 4K, whatever.
Yeah.
Awesome, smart.
The frames are freaking expensive, though.
Frames are expensive. So I looked at it and I was like, well, if you get this 27-inch skylight, it has the same functionality of the frame with the photo thing that you can dump into it.
Yep.
And now she loves that part because like she just keeps uploading all of her family photos.
They put all the photos there,
and the kids love it because they walk by like, oh, do you remember the one we were on this trip? You know,
every time.
So kind of like it's new for us, but it's fun to have them excited about that stuff. And we're working that chore thing in, and you know, I got to build out the recurring chore.
It's pretty cool, man. It's pretty. That's going to be it for part 1. Stay tuned for part 2. Coming up.